Hey guys, good evening. This is Chris at DNG RMS Photography, and I am just going to do a raw edit of the week for FroKnowsPhoto.com, the forum, well-known forum that everybody knows about. Well, I should hope everybody knows about it. It's absolutely excellent. So Jared Poland popped up a raw file this week for us to edit. It was one of Adam Lerner's raw files from the New York fashion week. And what I'm going to do is open it up into Photoshop. I've been using Lightroom quite a lot recently to work on all my photos, but just recently I've just been thinking that if you're going to do one photo and you want to make one photo look great, you're better just using Photoshop a little bit. So opening it up in the Adobe Camera Raw editor in Photoshop, and then putting it into Photoshop and just tweaking it a little bit within there. And obviously if you're working on lots of photos, so say I've been at, for instance, the photo shoot I did down at the Badminton Championships, which is on an earlier video. If I was doing a process for post-processing lots of photos like that, I'd use Lightroom because it's a lot easier to do lots of photos there. But Photoshop's great for just single photos, so I will probably be doing all the raw file edits in Photoshop, unless I have something that I particularly want to demonstrate or do a tutorial on in Lightroom in the future. So we're going to open it up and have a look. And what I want to do on this one, we're just going to do a very, very quick and very, very easy double process. So we're going to expose it twice. It's something that you would do for something like a landscape photo if you wanted to pull the sky back, pull the exposure back on the sky, and then pull the exposure up for the landscape, and then merge the two photos together. So it's just something very, very simple like that. Because you'll notice if I put the exposure right up, then you can see all these nice little people down here. And obviously a fashion show is all about the people who are looking as well. So I just thought I'd quite like just to include those in there as well. So we're going to expose for the people down here, and then we're going to open up in Photoshop, reopen it in the Adobe Camera Raw, and then expose for all this bit here. And then we might just pick out some details like the earrings and maybe some of these skulls in a nice magenta colour to match her lips and the details in the photo. So let's get straight into sorting these people out. Put the exposure right up. I'm not too worried about the noise. Okay, so lots of noise in there. Not too worried about that. We can sort that one out. I'm going to drop down some. Whoa. I'm going to drop the vibrance up a fraction, and put in a little S curve. And see the S curve is already there. I think it's picked up the. Yes, it has. It's already picked up the settings from Photoshop from when I opened it a few minutes ago. So as you can see, we put the luminance right up just to pick out the green leggings there. That's fantastic. The noise reduction just to pull out some of the grain. Didn't sharpen it at all because it's going to make the grain even worse. I'm not going to touch the HSLs, and just put the contrast up a little bit. You can see as I'm moving it here, it's just can't quite keep up, and it smooths it all out while I'm moving it. When you let go, it brings it back. Okay, so that's perfect. That's all we need. That's literally all we need down there. So what we're going to do, we're going to open that image up in Photoshop, and reopen this. There we go. And we're just going to reset. Now, is there a reset button up in here? Doesn't look like it. If anybody knows if there is a reset button for all these settings in Adobe Camera Raw, just leave a comment at the bottom of this video, and I will thank you greatly for that. So we're just going to bump all these back down. We don't need any of that. Right. So let's get into doing this one. So straight away, what I want to do, the exposure is absolutely. I mean, Adam Lerner's done an absolute sterling job on this. It's a fantastic photo. The exposure is spot on. There's not a lot wrong with anything else. This was how the photo originally came in, so it's a little bit cold. So what we're going to do is warm it up a fraction. There we go. Straight away we've got some gorgeous hair tones, gorgeous skin colour, and if we bump the contrast up as well a little bit, it won't need much because it is so crisp and contrasty as it is just in the photograph itself, in the clothes that she's wearing anyway. So to be honest, we don't need much else. I mean, look how crystal clear that is. Absolutely crystal sharp. Let's just do a little bit of sharpening as well. Mask off that sharpening. We want to mask off details, not textures. There we go. So obviously if you pull it back, look, that's sharpening textures. We don't want that. That's not good. We want to sharpen the edges and the details. There we go. And bump a little bit of the luminance. This earring is fantastic. I want to see if I can colorise that and match the magenta on there. Once we get it back into Photoshop. There we go. Okay. That, I don't think that needs much more at all. That is absolutely perfection. It's great. Absolutely brilliant. Right, okay, let's open that image up. So we've got, we just drag this out of here, we've got our two images. Okay, so this one's exposed for the people in the background, and this one is exposed for the lovely model here. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this layer here, so Command C, or if you want to edit copy, we want to select the background, you want to copy it, and then you want to paste it into this one here. And as I'm sure all of you know, that will paste in as a layer. So if you look at my layer, clear this one out of the way so I can just expand it a bit. If you look at my layer panel here, we've got the background layer, which is the crowd exposed, and the now called layer 1, which is the model. Okay, so we're going to turn this one into a layer as well, so just double click it, turn it into a layer 0. Right, so how do we get the people to come through here? Well, nice and simple, we're going to sort out a layer mask. Okay, so a new layer mask on there, and we want to rub out the top bit of this layer, so make sure we've got the layer mask selected, make sure we're in black and white here, and we want to be in black so that we can just rub out, and I think that should be about right. Right, paste to 100, and you'll see if I start rubbing now, look, these guys start appearing, start being slightly more careful when we get closer to the model. We don't want to rub her out because that will be exposing the underneath. There we go. So we've got some onlookers. Right. Actually, what we're going to do is just going to put that back to white, because what I did do there, if you look at this here, that mask here just came out and included this walkway. So we want to keep that walkway the same exposure as that. So I'm just going to move that back out there. There we go. Okay, spot on. Right. Now the noise that I was mentioning on those guys on the crowd, I'll sort that out really quickly. What we're going to do is blur that layer. There's a couple of blurs that we can use on this, but the one I'm going to use is Gaussian blur or Gaussian blur. There's also surface blur, which you'll have seen me use in the video last week for skin smoothing. But just for this, it's just easy just to use Gaussian blur, Gaussian blur. We don't want to do it too much. Have a look at, keep your eye on the preview. Obviously, if you do it too much, then you completely lose it. Pull it back, and you want something around probably a bit more than 2. I'm guessing about 4. There we go. So 3.94. Click OK on that, and there we go. Right. They are frustrating me, so we're going to get rid of those. Click on the layer, make sure we've got the layer selected. We're going to get our brush tool, and we're going to colour pick that layer there. So if I hold down Alt, it's going to change me to my colour picker. I'm going to select that black and just rub it out. Okay, nice and simple. Really quick. And now what I said I was going to do, there we go, there's Facebook clicking through. What I said I was going to do is just colorise a layer and bring through this earring. Now what we can do is we can add an adjustment layer to this we click on here, we're going to do a hue saturation adjustment layer on the model layer that we've got selected, and it's going to bring up this hue saturation here. Now what we want to do is only affect that bit there. So as you can see at the moment, the adjustment layer is white, which means it's going to affect the whole image. Now we need to fill it with black so that it doesn't affect any of the image apart from the bit I want. So what you can see now, if I get my white paintbrush, I'm just going to paint over. Actually, it might be a little bit easier if I sort out the hue straight away. So what I said, I wanted a magenta colour that matches her lips and this back door and her bra. Very nice. So here we go. So we want somewhere around there. There's a magenta colour up here. We're going to bump the saturation up so I can see what I'm doing. And let's do some rubbing. This should be really, really simple. Okay, here we go. So if we hold down Shift, it should make it nice and easy just to fill that in. You're going to see it's also changing that skin tones as well. So what we're going to do, just to make it slightly more prominent, is colorize the adjustment layer as well. So we're going to colorize our hue saturation adjustment layer. Click on colorize, drag this up to magenta again, somewhere around there. Bump the saturation, there we go. Now we've got some kind of fantastic magenta earring. If we zoom out, it's just a small detail, just pulls it all together. Let's see if we can get a colour match as close as we can to the lips. That's gone too purple. That's nearly there. Pull it back a fraction. 307 is where we're at. And now you can see it's just gone onto the skin down here and also onto the necklace, and because it's a layer mask we can sort that out very easily. Change to black, make the brush a little bit smaller. We're still using a feather brush, but the smaller you make it, the smaller the feather, which is all good. So same again, just hold down Shift. I have got a new toy which I've just ordered on eBay, which should hopefully come tomorrow, so the next video, hopefully, I will be able to introduce you to my new toy that I bought. Until then, it is a lot of clicking with this mouse. Click, 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 click. Let's take that off there as well. There we go. That is a very, very cool looking pink earring. Let's see what happens if we do that as well. Change it to a white. Is that going to go pink as well? Let's leave that pink as well. There we go. Fantastic. Now, one thing I thought would be quite funky is where this skirt just folds over. I'm just going to put in, same again, just some pink, just rub through this adjustment layer and just bring out some lower highlights just on the bottom of all these. Just on the bottom. Bottom section of all of these skulls, just to kind of tie in a little bit of magenta. You don't want to go too far with the black. You see, if you zoom in on these, you'll notice the edge is bright pink, but then if you go too far into the black goes magenta as well. We don't really want that, so I've gone a bit too far on those. So if we just switch it over and take some of the magenta back on the black, we only want the edge, or I only want the edge. You might think it's looking hideous, but it's all about just playing on these ones. I think it's very important what Jared says about these, that it's literally just I wouldn't do this on my edit. If I'd just taken this photo, I wouldn't be editing it like this. It's just very important that you can, well, it's not important, but it's fun to see how far you can push it and see how far you can get your skills to go on something like this, which is just thrown up there for the community to play with. A few more, that's gone way too far into there, just undo that, just Control Z. It's very, very bright up there, let's take a little bit of that off. Back to black again. Take some of that away, and I think I should want, well, there's two more over here. Here we go. So black again. Just these corners, just the bottom corners. I don't want to do all the way around the edges. Just picking out details on the bottom edges of all these. Another one down there, up here, dink dink dink, a few of the teeth as well. You'll notice I'm only doing the bottom side, I'm not doing the top side. That was just a decision. If you're going to pick out one side, always try and pick out the bottom side. Don't try and do the top. And then some underneath that last one there. There we go. Now, cup of tea again. Thank you very much. Ah, it's a bit cold that. There we go. Look at that. Ha! That looks quality. Right, I think we're pretty much there. I'm quite liking that. What we're going to do as well, just to tie it into a fashion theme, just want to add a very, very quick border onto it as well. So we're going to select our back layer, and what we're going to do is going to add a black and a white border just to really crisp it up. Been playing with some borders this week, so they're just in the forefront of my mind. Here we go, a nice easy way to make a crisp fashion or particularly a good border which will suit this kind of fashion picture. What we're going to do is going to go to canvas size, and you'll see here I've got relative already ticked. Now relative is going to literally just add on a certain number of centimetres. So if you look on here, it's 29 centimetres by 45 centimetres. So looking at that, let's add on, we want a very small thin white background. Actually, before I do that, I need to make sure I have my background as white. So let's go back up again, canvas size. Now if we've got relative set on there, let's add half a centimetre. Let's try half a centimetre. Half centimetre all the way around. There you go. You can see it's not added that round. It's gone too clear. Let's go back. We'll just flatten the image down. There we go. Let's try again. Image, canvas size, 0.5, 0.5. There we go. We're a white one, and then we'll do it again after we've swapped those over. So we've now got black as our background colour. Look. Canvas size again, and this time we're going to make a slightly larger border. So let's do, again, relatives ticked again. So if we do 4 centimetres by 4 centimetres, it's going to make the whole image 4 centimetres larger, but hopefully fill it with black. There we go. Let's make it just a fraction larger because I want to do, so I'm going to do 5 centimetres and 5 centimetres. There we go. And then what we're going to add on just at the bottom is a tagline. If we line it up with this outside edge border here, we'll add a tag, a font tag down there. Just onto there, we're going to stick it onto the right hand side, and we're just going to do New York Fashion Week. And it was Betsy Johnson, Runaway. There we go. So if we make that slightly larger, because it's no good being that small. And that's actually a pretty good font for that as well. I'd quite like to leave that font. What I don't like are the little caps. So we'll take the little caps away, and we'll take the underline away. But then having said that, I quite like that font, I now don't like that font. That font is absolutely terrible in little caps, which is probably why I use it in large caps. Before, let's find something slightly more simple. I want something with some serif on it as well. Times New Romans are nice and simple, and let's just use Times New Roman for the sake of things. There we go. New York Fashion Week, Betsy Johnson Runway. And if we can, if it was my photo, it's not. I'd probably put Adam Lerner in there as well. But we'll just leave it at that. New York Fashion Week, Betsy Johnson Runway. That is my edit of the week for FroKnowsPhoto.com. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it slightly informative, and I look forward to doing another one for you next week. Until then, take care and keep having your tea, and I shall see you later. See ya.